I'm Curtis Furr, and it's, like I say, it's 1968 to 2014. I was 10 years old, and my dad and my grandfather started no-tilling in the backside of a field somewhere that they didn't want the neighbors to see, but I remember riding with them, helping them. Took a John Deere grassland drill, and we planted a couple acres of soybeans, and it started along then, and we went from there to sod planters and or no-till planters. And but anyway, like I say, I'm from North Carolina, Stanley County, and I'm also supervisor on the Stanley County Soil and Water Board. Well, Stanley County is right in the heart of the Piedmont of North Carolina. As you can see there, got it outlined in red. Like I say, we progressed up to 12 rows instead of a 6-row no-till grassland drill. Also, we've stepped up to 15-inch rows. Projected crops for this year, we're going to have around 500 acres of wheat, 400 acres of corn, 600 acres of beans, and around 500 of cotton, and 100 acres of cover crop seed. So we decided this year we were going to grow our own seed. So we've got crimson clover sowed, rye sowed, triticale, and also we're trying a few acres of hairy vetch and winter peas. Don't know how they're going to harvest. We have grown the crimson and other stuff before. The crimson, we wait till it's just past the dough stage in the head, and we'll go in and desiccate it with some gramoxone to try to get it all to ripen at the same time, so we can get in there and harvest it, because a real hard thunderstorm in the right time, it'll knock every bit of the seeds about out of the head. So like I say, we grow wheat and our 15-inch corn. I like my 15-inch corn because we're getting root mass over that whole acre of land. Also, we're shading the ground a whole lot quicker and taking advantage of all the nutrients that's out there. Just another picture of some of the corn later on, and our soybeans. We plant all of our beans in 15-inch rows, also drill some. And we do 100% no-till and 100% cover crop on our acres. We also grow cotton, and it is all 100% no-till and with a cover crop, especially because cotton doesn't put out no kind of residue like corn and soybeans do. Cotton stalks like you go to the woods and break a stick off. That's about how hard the cotton stalks are after they've been bush hogged and dried down. They're pretty hard on our equipment. Crimson clover, that's a field of it. Our neighbors like for us to grow it on their farm so they can take pictures. And I actually had a girl got married right beside of a field, crimson clover, and got her pictures took out there. So I didn't know it till after the fact. I'll take it out of the rent next year. Just another up-close picture there of crimson. It is an awful pretty crop. And there's just some rye there. Reason we like cover crops is for erosion control, water filtration, soil health, and building our soil nutrients. One of the neighbors' farms close by there, I took some pictures of it. He don't sow no cover crop, but he goes in every year and he'll diss it down level, and the first big rain it washes her back out. Same field, just a different angle. This is a field we took on a few years back, and it was the same way. We went in and we leveled it, and leveled the whole field down with a turbo till or tool like that, and we sowed it in cover crop and are keeping it sowed. A lot of times these big heavy washout fields like this, we'll double seed them just to get a real thick stand. Just another picture of a different angle of that same swag in or swell in the field. Building our soil nutrients, our soils is just about, you just see earthworms. You don't dig far till you found an earthworm, and that's one of the things that help us out there. As you see, there's a turnip there. We pulled up and found the earthworm right beside of it. Got a lot of poultry in our area, so that means we got a lot of poultry litter. We take advantage of that too. This is a poultry house that's needing cleaning out. You can see all the litter and the feathers there. And we get the litter and spread it on our fields. We put from 3 tons to 6 tons a year, 6 tons on corn, 3 tons on beans and cotton. And sometimes our wheat crop will go in and put 3 tons on it. But fortunately, we've got enough chicken litter that we can coat every acre of land we got. And that really helps build the soil health up as well. On cover crops, I'm using a 5-way mix. I'm using rye at 30 pounds to the acre, using crimson clover at 10, Australian winter peas at 5, hairy vetch at 5, and the tillage radishes at 2.5 to 3 pounds. As I said earlier, our window of sowing these seeds is a little bit wider than they are in the northern states, so we try and we put them out when we defoliate cotton. We put them out as soon as the corn comes off the field, spreading them, and then later on in the year we'll switch over and go to putting them in with a no-till drill. But we can start this year. We're going to play around with trying to put some on aerial, and maybe some at maybe the end of July before corn gets so big, and tasseling we'll try some. One thing about it, this doing cover crops, is you need to have an open mind and be willing to step out of your box and try new things. Pictures of rye here and the crimson, and like I said, we used the winter peas and hairy vetch and the radishes. To get our mix like we want it, we may, on some situations, change our mix up some, but we use a grinder mixer and pour the seeds in at the back or auger them in the top, but we use the mixer there and then run them over in a seed tender and use that to carry the seeds to the field. Other substitutes that we use, if we don't want to use rye, is wheat, oats, and barley, and annual ryegrass and triticale. A lot of the farmers in our area tried the rye and got in a lot of trouble trying to plant through it, and they talked pretty bad to me about it because I talked them into doing something they didn't like. But they still they went to wheat or these other alternatives, and they're still doing it. So that's a plus. One of the ways we put it out is with a John Deere sprayer like you see here and a pendulum spreader. The picture to your right there, you see it looks like a tube coming out the bottom of the spreader, and that's the pendulum. It goes left to right at a high rate of speed, and it throws the seed. We found that using this works better than a spin spreader, unless a single spin spreader, because we seemed like had a lot of trouble with it wanting to throw out the rye maybe farther out than the small seeds, and we were getting streaks in the field. But the double spreaders with the 2 spin spreads work great. But the pendulum spreader, we run it with a hydraulic motor with the motor run kit that they use these in the tobacco part of North Carolina to use to go in and cut the top side of the cotton. So the sprayer's already equipped with a way to run the hydraulic motor, and that's worked real good for us. Some of the other ways, some of the other farmers are using spin spreaders and are mixing their seeds as they go, is they've mounted a auger at the bottom of their spreader here that's attached to the spreader, and put a bearing there at the top. And you see there, they just poured the seeds in and didn't try to make, or as far as they wasn't mixed, they just poured the wheat in or rye and then the crimson and everything else and started the machine up, and you see how it mixed it. It keeps it mixed during the operation. But we've not had no issues with looking like it settled out or anything, so we still just mixing it with the grinder mixer and using it. Some of the other neighbors in the county there have used these spreaders like this on the front of their 4700 series John Deere sprayers, running it with just a gas, 5 horsepower gas horizontal motor. And that's one of the fellas. This is another one. He also, if you'll notice at the top of that spreader there, they mounted them a auger in it to keep the seeds mixed. And we're using it when we go in to defoliate cotton. So while we're defoliating cotton, we're putting our cover crops out. That's sometime like the last part of September, 1st of October. These seeds are being spread. And there again, talking about at the beginning, our window is so much wider we can go in and spread it and get along. Now, talk about defoliating cotton, we spray it to knock the leaves off of it and open the bolls. Well, the seeds will be on the ground, and then in about 3 or 4 days, the leaves will fall off and cover those seeds, and they'll germinate if we've got good moisture. We've had pretty good luck doing that. There's been a few times we didn't have the moisture and didn't get quite as good a stand as we'd like to have had. But we still got the opportunity to go back in and take a no-till drill and hit the spots where we didn't get a good stand. Just another picture there of that spreader. Like I said, the other alternatives we have is a John Deere no-till drill. I like that because they don't go in and rip the soil up to start erosion, because we're, like I said, in the Piedmont, we're real rolling, and we try to not tear up no more soil than we can help. This was a field, it was in soybeans. Wasn't able to get in it and put anything in on top, so we drilled them. This was early beans that come off like the middle of October, so we're still got a good window there to get cover crop sowed here. Also, we have just took a spreader truck and drove over to soybean fields if they good and wet, and had pretty good luck doing that. We just have to take each year as it comes and the moisture level to make some of these things work. We've also took a herd spreader like this one on the back of a tractor and pull a Phillips hair right behind it. The way this worked, the seeds fell right in front of those spike teeth, and the spike teeth will work the soil up no more than a ½ inch. That really works great, but you got to wait. Like this field particularly, this was probably the middle of November, and we were actually sowing wheat here to take the grain instead of a cover crop. But we have sowed cotton cover crop behind cotton with this system, and got along fairly well. Just some pictures of the cover crops after we've sowed them. The right-hand picture there, those two stalks there to the left you see is cotton, and it looks like you just stuck a stick in the ground. But the kind of to the left bottom there you see is some radishes coming up, and the others is clover and some hairy vetch there. Here's pictures, some vetch, crimson clover, and the rye coming through. Just later on, this is about probably the third week of April when this picture was took. We were just fixing to go in and lay it down and kill it. Our radishes there, you see those, they were real good also. We actually got that one to pull up, but you see what a hole it left in the ground for aeration. So a lot of folks talk about in the southeast they have to rip their soils because they have hard pans. I've argued with them that they can sow these radishes and turnips and stuff and get away from tilling the soils. The way we roll our cover crops down is we've got a tractor with saddle tanks on it. I got a 30-foot color packer that we roll the cover crop down. It seems that the rye will stay down pretty good after you roll it and stay matted to the ground. And we try to roll in the same direction that we're going to be planting. And our spray bar, we mounted a spray bar on the color packer, and our spray tips is 20 inches apart, and they're around 20 inches off the ground. And we're putting a minimum of 20 gallons of water to the acre at about 50 pounds of pressure. So we're getting a real good cover and kill. As you see there on the ground behind that color packer, there's a lot of biomass there on the ground. And you see how the tips are mounted. They're right behind the color packer where it's rolled it down. It actually, if it tries to stand back up, it's got it sprayed before it tries to come back up and stand up. Wheat a lot of times won't lay down. It'll try to come back up, but rolling it like this, you get a real good kill. Just another picture of a side view there of the color packer. And that's a picture of it about a week after it was burnt down. As you see in about the middle of the right-hand side of that picture there, the cotton stalks standing there. Like I said a while ago, it's like just a stick stuck in the ground, and after it'd been bush hogged, they're real sharp. And we have had lots of trouble with flat tires. I know a guy in the last session was talking about them in the soybean stubbles out here, but I'll take the soybeans over the cotton stalks any day because it's pretty tough on them. But like I say, there's the kill we get. We've been using Gramoxone with a mixture of 2,4-D and a dicamba. And if we don't want to use the dicamba and 2,4-D, we'll use the Gramoxone and something like a Harmony in that family. There's a cross section coulter cut. It will cut it the way I've got the coulters mounted on this planter. We're using frame mounted coulters that's mounted on the frame of the planter. We put longer parallel arms on the planter and push that unit back and put a unit mounted cleaner. Those are Yetter cleaners there, and they seem to be done a pretty good job. And one planter we done the setbacks instead of buying the longer arms. And as you see there, just a picture of the row cleaner. But right there's what it'll do. Those do a real good job. As you can see, we planted the same direction that we rolled it, and that works good. But it will, like you see in that other picture, like there, you see it cut that and moved it right out of the way and still planted it. Cut it right crossways. But you got to let it get dead. That, like I said, that was about 10 or 12 days after it had been sprayed, and it was beginning to deteriorate a whole lot. The Kinsey planter you see up front don't do quite as good a job at the same time planting with the John Deere planter because the row cleaners are mounted in front of the coulter instead of behind. So we have to wait till about 2 weeks or 22 days after we spray it to let that rye and stuff get desiccated a little bit more. As you see on that tractor there, we got the saddle tanks on it, and we're using it for to put a pop-up fertilizer in furrow there with a totally tubular. We're putting that in furrow with the seed, and then behind we'll put our nitrogen right beside the row, and that way we're trying to put everything as close to the plant as we can get it without burning it. This is a picture of me in 1980 planting with a tractor and standing rye. At that time we didn't roll it down. You can barely see me in the middle of the picture there at a tractor with a red buggy top. That was before everybody graduated to tractor with a cab on it. This is a field in Stanley County. The field on the left had a vertical tillage ran over it before the cotton was planted. The field on the right was planted in a cover crop. This is just a picture of it later on in the season. You can see how much difference the cover crop made. The field on the left is cover crop. The field on the right was same picture, but again, cover crop on your right and vertical tillage on your left. Outside temperature that day was 105. As you see, there's a picture of no cover. You see that ground's just plumb bare. And under it, the cover crop there, it was 85 degrees under those cotton stalks. So that made a real believer out of a lot of folks. That's just a picture of some more cotton with the heavy residue under it. This was a picture of a 2012 crop that that particular field there run about 3 bales to the acre. And I contributed a lot of that to a good heavy cover crop. Farmers seemed like in that area was telling me they were getting 1,300 pounds to 1,350, and like I said, that went right at 1,500 pounds. Just some more pictures there. If you've not never seen a cotton crop, that white bloom there came out like this morning. If you look you see the purple blooms in there. That was a yesterday's bloom, and it pollinated and dried up. They'll turn red and then purple the second day. See, there's the red one. That was the 2 days ago. But anyway, just another picture there of some cover crop, the residue. Here's a picture of that same field that I showed you a while ago that run about 3 bales. There's some more of it there. I don't know, does anybody ever in here grow cotton? I didn't figure there'd be too many from the south up here. It's a good crop. It takes a lot of maintenance. We'll wind up spraying as many as driving through it 8 times spraying. It depends on how much water we get and how much growth regulators we have to put on it, and our insect pressure. A lot of times we can piggyback a lot of that together and save a crop. I was out waiting on the boys. I'd taken some pictures, and that particular bowl that I put that quarter on, you can kind of get an idea. It was about a baseball size bowl. And if you've not ever seen a cotton picker in action, there's a picture of one. And we put our cotton in modules. The gin comes and picks it up. And in other words, it ain't like you put it in the bin and then have to get it out. So we're done with it when we pull the tarp over it. It's better than having to pull grain out of a bin. But after we get through our crops, we pull our soil samples. We're using grid sampling and trying to soil sample every other year to keep an eye on what our soils is doing. And just closing up, we've come a long way from the bottom left-hand corner there, from following a mule to where we at today, to all the RTK and global position and stuff we use. And we're living in a time technology's come a long way, and it's actually farming's fun. The way we got things to better ways to do it now.